So far in this lecture series, we have discussed about the foundry, furnace, then sand casting process. So the the end product of the sand casting process is a casting. So the casting as such cannot be used directly because as you can see in this image, we are using different vents for providing air gap as well as for pouring molten metal into the sand casting. What happens is that after solidification, the metal tends to be around these holes. So there will be a runner riser attached to the sand casting. So to the finished casting. So what you have to do is you have to remove those excess projections from the sand casting to make it usable. So that process is called as fettling. So once the fettling is done, then secondary machining process can be done. So before that, what you have to do is you have to ensure the quality is of designated quality is achieved. So that can be done with the help of quality checking process. So as you can see in this image, they are using a hardness tester to measure the hardness of the casting, whether it is to the specified quality or not. So the hardness of the casting will depend upon the depend upon the material composition, the alloying done to the steel. So if the alloying is not particularly effective, then what happens is that there will be compromise in the hardness. So to ensure that it is of the required hardness, we are doing the hardness testing. Similarly, the strength can be determined. Similarly, the eye inspection would be done to recognize any casting defects available. And then you may go for some non-destructive testing methods to analyze its surface composition and to analyze the material composition. So everything is done to ensure that our finished product is of the required quality. So to ensure the quality, we are doing these things. So it can be done with the help of destructive testing or non-destructive testing process. So what are the health and safety regulations associated with the sand casting process? We can see the first thing is protective gear. Since foundry is a very hard place to work, the workers has to wear protective gears during the entire step to prevent heat burns, etc. And to prevent dehydration and to prevent any metal spillage on them, they have to wear heat protective gears. That's the first thing. Heat resistance clothing should be worn by them, and similarly goggles should be used by the workers at every step necessary. And workplace hygiene, foundry should be maintained with proper hygiene. And then equipment maintenance. So equipment maintenance plays a major role. So whenever you see in industry, everything will be in order. The reason for that is whenever you need a component, we should easily know where that component is available to reduce the production time. So if you are going in search of component every time, what happens is that the production time increases, which increases the overall cost of the entire process. So to prevent that, equipment maintenance plays a major role. And similarly, maintenance also indicates the regular checking of the machines. So foundry machines, either it may be the molding machine, it may be the sand casting equipments. It is checked regularly in order to identify that the equipments are in pristine condition. And if there are any wear and tear, it is replaced. And also emergency protocol has to be followed during each and every step to ensure that the quality of the work is not degraded, and similarly the health of the workers are not affected in any step. The workers has to wear gas masks throughout the step because some harmful gases will be liberated in the foundry during the melting process, and also during the pouring process some gases may be liberated, and also regular health checkup will be done for the foundry workers to ensure that they are not exposed to any harmful gases. That's regarding health and safety regulations in the foundry process. So other than this, in a foundry, there will be some quality checking machines, and also there will be some testing methods. Similarly, non-destructive testing methods such as X-ray diffraction will be available. So those are done in order to ensure the quality of the alloying done. And we'll discuss about some casting defects which may be arising in the casting process. So one defect we already discussed is blowholes. So blowholes are caused because of gas trapped inside the casting. So they can be eliminated by providing vents. So another casting defects are misruns. So misruns happen because of the improper removal of pattern. So if the pattern is not removed properly, what happens is that some edges may be deformed. Those deformed edges may lead to misrun. And similarly, sand grains may get trapped inside the molten metal during the solidification process. So they may lead to sand inclusion inside the casting. So those things has to be removed by cutting away the material. So those components will probably get rejected. So to prevent that, you need to ensure that the sand is rammed properly. If the sand is rammed properly, then there will be not any loose sand available. So that has to be done to prevent the casting defects. Similarly, there are some other casting defects such as cold sheds, etc. So casting defects can be prevented. So to prevent the casting defect, we have to ensure that the sand casting process is done in a proper way. That's how we can remove the casting defects. So if the casting defects arises, some defects can be removed by machining, but most of the casting defects may lead to rejection of the cast part. So such components will once again be recast into fresh batch of new materials. So that's regarding this quality control and health and safety regulations in the sand casting process. So foundry is a very hard place to work because of the very high temperature. And also due to the health hazards, there will be always ash flying around, which may lead to some lung disease, etc., asthma, etc. So it's a very hard place to work, but it is a very essential place because of the need for metal components. So that is regarding these things. I hope you understood. I will see in the next lecture. Thank you.